To build with precision, you need to make what I'm about to show you. It's become my favorite precision tool in the workshop.
Hi, I'm Sean, and I've been woodworking for over 20 years, and I'm also a mechanical engineer. These are a series of short videos focusing on one subject and showing techniques that I've refined over many years. I'd love to also hear your techniques and your methods, so please share them in the comments below.
A shooting board helps you get perfectly square parts using a hand plane that rides in a reference track. It gives you fine-tuned control that even the best tuned saw can't match. It also allows you to sneak up on final dimensions. To make your shooting board, start with high-quality 18mm plywood, or 3/4 inch if you don't live in Europe. You need one piece at about 250 by 300 millimeters, or 10 inches by 12 inches, and another piece that's slightly wider by about 60 millimeters, or 2.5 inches. These sizes are irrelevant, just pick a size that seems comfortable. This always works for me quite comfortably. I put mine together with screws and glue, a lot of screws to make sure that it really stays flat. I also attach a hardwood fence to the end, and the fence is not higher than the blade on my plane. I also back cut the fence slightly, and when I installed the fence, I used a square and I slid the fence slightly forward, just a hair forward past the edge here. And I installed one screw, got everything squared up, and then installed another screw and a third screw just for security. Later, that small hair of an overhang I can take off with my plane. And of course, because it's not full width, it's not going to be quite so difficult to just take off this smaller piece. The last thing I do is I apply a small piece of hardwood to the base underneath, and that's so that I can put it into my vise. If you want to make a mitered shooting board for cutting 45-degree angles, you can start with the same setup, but on the top board, cut a 45-degree angle on your saw. Then glue two pieces together at about 60 millimeters wide and 300 long, and cut that also at 45 degrees, and glue and screw it to the base. The fence is also back cut just like the other fence, and I've also installed it just a hair over the edge so that I can use my plane to flush it up to the surface. To use the shooting board, place your board against the fence and push the board against the front part of the sole of your plane, and then push lightly until you start to engage. And if everything's working correctly, you should have no gaps. And here's a couple of pro tips. Wax the track here and here. That'll make your plane slide very nicely in the track. I also use a dedicated number 4 plane for my shooting boards. It's just always set up with the exact amount that I like to take off, which isn't a lot. That allows me to sneak up on final dimensions. One way to do that easily is just to count your strokes. This is especially helpful if you're going to make a box and you need to take just a little bit off of the pieces to sneak up on those dimensions. If you count your strokes, you take one stroke, go to the next piece and take another stroke, then you know that both pieces you've taken off the same amount. A shooting board turns out perfectly square parts. It's one of those tools that improves every project, from drawers to boxes and cabinet liners. If you found this helpful, check out the previous video in this series on measuring and marking, because accuracy starts long before you make the cut. And let me know in the comments, do you use a traditional shooting board, or have you built one of your own designs? Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow along for more precision woodworking tips.